versus somewhere upwards of 50% before. So we've seen a big change as far as part of it's due to the processing that we do, the technology we have. We continue to educate in that area, and we will continue to educate in that area to improve that stream with the goal of getting it under 10%. So.
And refresh my memory, does the city share in any cost recovery for the recycling? I mean, to the extent we're successful in recycling, does part of that cost flow back to us under the terms of the contract?
Actually, no, it's actually all on our, kind of on our end.
Okay. So we're thinking that through a better process of sorting and also education, we're seeing success in that area.
We really are, and that ultimately is going to help the city with their overall conversion rate. On the Greenway side, that is an area we're currently focusing on. We again are using the same method that we have been using. The contamination isn't nearly as bad in that area, but we're continuing to look for other options for that material. And hopefully within the next 2 to 3 months, we'll have something that will do with that. Again, that's an educational piece that we continue to educate the residents with. One thing that definitely helped was getting some uniform containers out to the residents, which when we took over, we did. So obviously we've seen some changes with contamination just associated with, every resident having a standard type of container for each type of material. So we are improving in that area as well. And your third question was in regards to customer complaints. We actually provide the staff on a quarterly basis a report from us, which does include customer complaints. They're relatively minimal, but they are all in there for anyone's review if you wanted to take a look at those.
Could we maybe request just a very brief report from staff on service levels and the level of success we're having with our new vendor?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Silva? For the record, I'd like to say that earlier today I also met with both representatives from CRNR in my office. If I'm reading this correctly, for your typical single-family home, the increase per month would be $1.43. Am I missing some formula here? Or it's increasing from
$15.99 to
$16.87 plus, I'm sorry, 88 cents. That's the total out-of-pocket cost that costs our single-family homeowner. Yes. Is that correct? I had some concerns that I shared with CRNR, and that has to do with the compliance of the contract. And the question is whether they are not only in full compliance today, which I believe they are, but when they become in full compliance, and talking specifically about the quarterly pickup days that they're supposed to, that they've been doing. But I don't believe that they've activated that or that they complied with that since the beginning of the contract. In other words, they've been in operation for a year and a half, correct? So by definition, that means that they would have had to have 6 pickup days.
Actually, they started July 1 last year.
Or how many?
We've got 13 months. Right, that's right.
Okay, so how many pickup days would that
Should have 4.
And how many have they had?
I would have to go back and look at the dates. It's been
Actually, applications. Yeah, if I may, I actually have those dates. We had our first one on October 6, 2007, which was a Saturday in our yard. And there was some issues with the publication associated with that, so we did not have great participation on that first one. The second one was held on January 5th, 2008. The third one on Saturday, April 5th, 2008. And the last one was just held last week on Saturday, the 12th of July.
So the only one that was missing, which you shared with me earlier, the October one, that for whatever reason did not get publicized.
We had the event, it's just, I think because it being a new contract, the publication wasn't really good, and we didn't have great participation. We did have some people come to that event, but it wasn't nearly like what we had in the last 3. But we have in fact got all 4 that we were required to.
And also for the record, since you're there, the availability of our residents to go down on site in the business day and drop off trash began When?
We actually began at the contract start date. We actually did implement that. We did run into some permitting issues for a period of time, late summer, early fall with the county local enforcement agency. I see some smiles up there. We've resolved those now, and we are open for business. In fact, one of the items you approved earlier tonight on your consent agenda will allow us to actually increase that tonnage level to allow for there not being future issues with that. In addition, to allow us to start to do some processing under construction and demolition waste. So, but at this time, that's fully up and running.
And also in terms of the timing of the request, which the contract came late, but you indicated that there's some justification to not being able to meet the deadline as stipulated in the agreement.
I'm sorry.
The agreement stipulates that this request would have to have been in the city before March 31st, I believe.
Yes, actually March 3rd.
Okay, and that this came in April.
Yes. The reason for that was there was a couple indices that were selected in the initial contract that were no longer available or published. So we had to work with staff to determine to do indices that were have the ability to be published and something that we could pull from. So that was the reason for the delay in the actual. There was discussion going on with staff, but the actual letter wasn't mailed until a couple weeks after because we were trying to figure out what indices to use that would be comparable to the ones that were written in the agreement.
As Mrs. Sanders stated, during all the other committees that selected the company, and so we kind of knew that the rates increases would be due and payable at this time. But I do have a question. The thing that I get the most is people who go out to the yard and drop off trash and find that there is a pretty substantial, in their minds, charge that they have to pay to drop it off themselves. And my question is, are you advertising that in such a way that people know that there is a fee? I mean, are we putting out materials for homes? Are we saying to them that there are certain days that you will come by and pick it up extra within a year's time? I mean, how are we getting that information to them to let them know that if they drive out there, there will be a potential charge to drop off there? As a matter of fact, Mr. Silver went out there one day.
I think we'll be talking about a different option. Mr. Solomon is referring to dropping off your trash at the landfill, which is what I had to do when I was turned away from CRNR. This is before my council days. I was turned away from CRNR, being able to dump my trash, and I ended up having to take a trip to the landfill, which no longer had a contract with the city, and I was charged for a very small truckload. I was charged $45 for a dumping fee.
Maybe let me clarify. We do not own the landfill, so if a resident does go to the landfill, they're going to get charged because that is not our landfill. The three types of services that are available to the residents that are at no charge are, the first one is you can take that same material rather than go to landfill and go to our facility on Main Street. No charge there. We also have the quarterly events that happen 4 times a year, the ones we just talked about, and those are free of charge as well. And then in addition to that, there is bulky item collection that you can actually call on an on-call basis, and actually our truck will pick something up at your curb. So those are the 3 items that are in the contract currently.
Yeah, but for a year, how are you advertising this? Because there are people that are not getting that message.
We
going out there and being charged.
We are at the way we're advertising that is through we have a brochure program that basically goes out to new residents or is re-educated to residents that has all of the services we provide in addition to our 3 container system that we implemented back on July 1st of 2007. Again, that's a trifold colored brochure